Welcome back. You know we are, because it says so on your screen. Let's look at what I've been doing. Yesterday I made a start on our drive shaft hanger bearing, centre bearing mount, or whatever you want to call it, that's progressed to this point. Of course, it doesn't take 5 seconds to spin up bushes and the inserts that go in the bushes and the washers and everything. None of that's off the shelf. It's all, well, it's off my shelf now, I guess. I finished off making that bracket there. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's pretty good. A couple of little marks in there that I probably should polish off. In fact, I should polish the whole thing, seeing as it's sitting next to this diamond in the rough. So what I need to do at this point in time, it's got a little shim in there, just trying to get it to the right height. I can actually go a little bit higher. About there is where we crash into things. So it's probably not going to move quite as much as that. So I can probably, I think that's a 2mm shim or 1.6. So I might be able to go 3, and that's as high as we'll be able to go. Or we'll just run into problems with the drive shaft knocking into whatever it is that's touching up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that a tiny little bit higher, because we're not going to hit the floor here, we're miles away from there. And whatever it is back there that's hitting, I'll give that a bit of a clearance with the Dremel so that we can have this running as high up as we possibly can to reduce, not that it makes a lot of difference at this point, but it'll reduce the angle on this CV joint. It's not terrible, but I guess if I pan back you might be able to see it easier. It goes from there to there. It's a bit hard to show you. It's about, I think it's about 7 degrees. I just hit my head. It's a good start to the video, isn't it? So I'm just about to mark out exactly where that needs to go on this plate here and drill the holes to mount that, and we'll be sorted as far as that little piece goes. That'll probably then go in the milling machine and we'll lose some weight out of here and all that sort of carry on, make it look prettier. So once I've got the bolts done up properly, tighten those right up and put the screws in across the bottom here. Comes sunk screws into the base of that lower mount. It turns out I don't need a shim. I thought I'd miscalculated things and it could go up a little bit higher, but once everything was all torqued up properly, then that is basically as high as it can go. If I put a 1.6 shim under there now, it's pretty much touching way back just up there. It's a bit hard to see. Oh, we might be able to squeeze the phone in. Oh, look, you guys can see it on the screen there, I'm sure. So I can actually just machine off, like I say, with the die grinder, where that shiny bolt is, the nut rather. Take a little bit off that just to make sure it's not going to touch. Everything else is close, very, very close. The ring gear is not far away from that drive shaft there. So we can't get a better angle as far as aiming for there. It's not bad, it's better than what it was before with the other gearbox because of a couple of things, but that's as good as we're going to get. Ideally you want to try and keep joints straight if you can, but it's just not a thing that can be done with this car easily. I mean, if I got custom half shafts made for the front so that we can run that way over that way and chopped up the whole firewall and everything a lot more, then yeah, we can straighten shafts out and stuff, but I'm not doing that. I'm not keen on doing that at all. These are equal length at the moment. That one there that my finger's pointing to, they're equal length and they're an off-the-shelf part. If we went to a custom part, then yeah, it just starts getting hard and not ideal. If I break one at the moment, I can just go and get another one from our mates at Nissan King, but if we make custom ones, that won't be happening. Okay, I'm going to find, there it is. There's the other part of that shaft. I'm just going to confirm the length of the flange that needs to go on here, because it's different now because we've lifted this end up, so the distance from here to here changes. So I need to confirm that. I do have to order some material so we can make some new flanges for here out of 7075 T6, and one for there as well. Everything else will stay the same. That all spins. Beautiful. That's actually the diff at the other end making that noise because it's bone dry. Should be louder now. So we need to put some oil in that at some point in time, but a long way away from needing that. So that front section of the rear prop shaft, I guess you'd call it, fitted for now. Will come out. Everything is tight. You could drive it. That's the angle we're dealing with there. It's not huge, but you wouldn't want it any more than that. That's considerably less than what has been in the past, actually. So we should be all right with that. It's better due to the change in the diff ratios. Oh, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head now, but these are a lower ratio, i.e. a higher speed. Everybody gets that one all back front and it's confusing the terminology. The first digit is smaller. So instead of being like 4 to 1, it's like 3 to 1. So our prop shafts are spinning slower than what they have done in the past. So that's great. There's more torque going through the joints, but that's fine. It's designed to handle that. High RPM at high angles generates a lot of heat. So these will be happier now than what they ever have been. So that's great. Got to get on with, like I say, make a new flange for here. I will make a new one for there and for there, and get this prop shaft here done, because the one that we've got over here is a wee bit short one end. Yes, that's not going to get to there by that much. So it'd be nice to get my hands on a couple of R35 GTR prop shafts. They're a carbon fibre one, and then use the CV joint end from 2 of those and a section from in the middle, and then we would be as good as gold. That would be awesome, nice and light. It's only I wrote it down somewhere on the whiteboard, 800 and something millimeters long, that shaft. So right, it's time to move this forward and try and achieve something on that. Alright, Mr. BMW, you play nicely or I'll put you right back in the corner again. Actually, one of the things I think we need to sort out, it's not on the list, that is the mankiest, scabbiest looking pile of that I've seen in a long time on something, apart from the dust that's on it, right? It is actually a very nice piece of gear. Yuck. Yuck. Not my doing. I'm going to put that on my list of I'm going to fix that. But in the meantime, there's a couple of things that they stand out pretty easily. As being pretty easy, I should say. One of them is jet plug there. That's going to be for our can Lambda. It's quite a long. Everything's long. The harness is very, very long. But our O2 sensor plug is here. So our can Lambda unit can go over here somewhere. Inside that box would be nice. Not sure if that harness will reach that. It'll be pretty close. So I can perhaps make a start on making some brackets and everything to get our ECU and the can box and the can Lambda box, and mounting these plugs so they don't rattle inside here and all that sort of carry on. And at some point we've got to do something with the excess length that's here. There's a whole heap of cheeky smuttery laughing and going in the background. I can hear it from here. But okay, I'm going to achieve something. I'll turn the radio back on. If you guys aren't listening to the Rock 2000 on the Rock FM, you need to be doing that. It's good. It's looking heaps better, isn't it? Ready to drive even. No way. So, it's after 5 o'clock, not really getting anywhere with this today. A lot of thinking, a lot of trying to sort this harness out, where things are going to go to make it actually work successfully. There's no brackets or anything underneath where the plenum goes, and this harness is designed to go under here. So I've had a bit of a ferret around. I found a couple of things to start attaching that, but it's I mean, to make it fit nicely in the car, there's just no way without repinning some things, shortening some things up, changing things. Not criticising the product, but far out. It's a tricky one to make it look nice. Of course, you just stuff the whole lot into the box and put the lid on it. It disappears, but I don't like that. That's not the way to do it. I'll have to run through and sort out some things that haven't been done. Main power, there's a big cable that runs through to here. There's absolutely no power to the starter motor yet. There's no power cable to the alternator yet. There's no fittings on the wastegate. There's no wastegate actuator or boost solenoid, I'll call it. The wiring's here. It kind of lends itself to heading in this direction. It's part of this harness that comes over here, but I don't want to put it near all the hot stuff there, so it might actually be able to go in there. That's a good idea. We'll tuck it away where we can't see it, otherwise we'll find somewhere in this general area. Going to take these off, get them powder coated, painted, or new ones maybe. I'll check on the price of a new one. It might not be silly just to buy a brand spanking new cam belt cover. Fortunately we took this off when we were doing other things, because that's a fuel fitting and that looks tight. It's not tight. Somebody's put that on there and left it like that, and that would have sprayed fuel as soon as we powered up the fuel pumps. But I guess that's something that you look for while you're doing those things. Haven't achieved a lot on this. I've put a sensor, a fuel pressure sensor on the regulator, and the regulator's not even on the car. Jeebus! Okay. I'm calling it. Cheers, bye.